Okay, so I'm going to be in a standard tuning here, E, A, D, G, B, E, and this is going to be in a little bit of a tricky key if you have an issue with like stretching and all that, some sus2 stuff going on here with F. So, I tried doing some drop D, see if that would help, but some of the chord shapes just made it a little more difficult, and we couldn't quite get the notes ringing out how I would prefer. So I'll give you a couple options here. If you're cool with the stretch, you got a good reach, then no big deal there. But if the F is too effed up, I guess, you could just do a capo at the first fret, and that'll help solve some of the stretching issues. So keep that in mind as I'm showing you this stuff. If you need to, just capo that first fret and let the capo handle all the first fret stuff. So the initial riff here, it's doing that F sus2, which is a bit of a stretch. So we got the first fret here on the E, got the 3 on the A, and the 5 on the D. And you just want to pick right down through it, the 1, 3, 5. And you just kind of slide that 5 out. Alright, and then we're just basically going to lift off at this point and have the 1 on the E, the 3A, and the 1D, so it's like a F7 type thing now. And we just pick the 1, 3, 1 right down through it. Back to the 3A, 1D. Okay. Alright, and now we start this kind of descending E string where we'll come up to the 4 on the E, we'll have that 3 on the A, and then we'll keep that 1 on the D. So it's basically like a part of an A flat chord now. Alright, and then we just walk down that 4E to 3. So we end up with the 3E, 3A, keep the 1D, pick down through that, and then back to the 3A, 1D. G sus flat 6 thing happening here. So it'd be... Alright, so slowly the whole thing here. Alright, and that just kind of cycles. And over the top of that, we'll eventually get a little bit of lead stuff. So we'll start here at high string E, go 6, 4, 3. Then we'll hit this real subtle kind of 1, and then to a 1 on the B. It seems to me like that's kind of like the only time that really happens. Other than that, it does the 6, 4, 3, and just kind of holds at that 3. Alright, and then kind of eventually, once like the verse gets going, it keeps that 6, 4, 3 going, but then you'll hear these kind of subtle muted G notes in there. So just kind of like an open G string here. And if you have the first fret capoed, you could just do that at the 5 on the D instead of doing the open Gs. Same deal. So it'd just be like, sorry. Okay, just kind of subtly puts that in there, or you could do the 5 with the D. Okay, up to you if you're capoed or not. And eventually, like the big heavy part comes in, and it just starts with F power chord. So just the 1 on the E, 3 on the A. A couple hits there, and if you're capoed, it would just be like, like you're doing an open power chord, so it's holding the 1 and you got the 3 on the A. Same deal. Alright, then it moves up to kind of like our descending E section there, the 4 on the E with the 3A, and then just come off to 3s for this G sus. Couple hits. Alright, and it does more or less that same thing again, but instead of the 3s, it'll actually take it higher now. It'll go the F power chord, the 4 and 3 for the A flat, and then it keeps it going, and you just come up to 6s on the E and A for a B flat sus. Couple hits there. Alright, so that whole thing cycles throughout the heavy section there. Then we'll eventually get kind of a newer lead part where all D string here, we'll just do 10th fret, slide down to 6. Alright, hold that a moment, and then we slide the 8 to 5. Alright, and those two little bits just kind of repeat. And at the very end, we'll get a little new lead thing happening where we're up high now, and I just kind of bar the 10s here, and I'll have a 10D, and we're going to bounce between this 10D and just some higher notes here. So we'll hit the 10D 11B, back to the 10D 11B, lift off to the 10 high E. Alright, back to the 10D, and then we start this B string where we go 13, back to 10D, couple 11s, 10D, and then just start between like the 13B, 10D a few times. Alright, and just cycle that whole thing.